guys, welcome to my first wrap up. Today I'm going to be bringing to you guys my September book wrap up. So these are just books that I finished in September. One of these I finished in August, but we'll just pretend like I finished in September, you know? I don't know, do you guys like my fall decor? I made this. So cute, right? And then I bought these little ghosts in the back and my little pumpkin. Pretty. Sorry if you can hear my dog. So the first book that I finished this month is The Host by Stephanie Meyer. I had this on my shelf for about a good year and a half or something like that. It's been a really long time. Ever since I've met SACHA, she said that this was her favorite book by far, so I decided to give it a go. I know that it was turned into a movie, and I finally just watched that movie a couple weeks ago. And this is a really good book. This is the author of Twilight, if it doesn't say it right there. In this book, their world is kind of invaded by, like, what do I say, like aliens, I guess? And what they do is they take over the minds of the human host, and their body is still intact. Wanda is the girl that is taking over Melanie's body. Wanda is known for her extravagant work, and she has been to many different planets. She has been in many different hosts, and she's just known for her work. But when Wanda takes place in her new host, which is Melanie's body, she figures out that Melanie is still inside of her. She is still in her head. So it's all about Wanda working with Melanie, trying to get Melanie out of her head. And Melanie's trying to get Wanda out of her body and trying to get her body back. Melanie confuses Wanda with thoughts in her head, showing her pictures in her head and memories of Jared and Jamie, which is her brother and her boyfriend, and they are in hiding right now. So Wanda slowly but surely finds herself feeling guilty, finding herself feeling really lost, and feeling like she's kind of taking the wrong turn in this host's body. She starts wondering about Jared and Jamie and where they are, and she's just trying to decide whether to find another host and move on to a new body and leave Melanie here. She's trying to decide if she wants to team up with Melanie and go find Jared and Jamie and kind of betray her whole culture and her whole background, if that makes sense. So she's stuck in a really difficult position that Melanie puts her in, but she's also kind of feeling guilty for taking somebody's body and taking their memory and their family. Kind of torn. Does she find a new host, or does she set off for an adventure with Melanie? My rating for this was a 4 out of 5 stars, being that the first about 200 pages, and this is a pretty long book, the first 200 pages were a little bit blah. I feel like I kind of almost lost interest in it, but really once you start getting into the book, about page 220, I really started liking it. I really kind of got into it. I felt like I was kind of on the adventure with them, and I didn't really, like, I felt like I could guess what was going to happen, but it, like, I was wrong every single time. So it's really challenging, and yeah, I really liked this book. So I give it 4 out of 5 stars. The second book that I read is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I picked this up at a library book sale a while back, and I just fell in love with the cover. Like, look how gorgeous this is. This was such a great book. I would say that this is maybe like one of my favorites out there. It's just such a mind-blowing book, I believe, and it's very descriptive. Celia Bowen was a little kid. Her mother died, and so she was kind of taken in by her father, which she didn't know. Her father was a very famous magician, so he was kind of known in the circus and as a magician. So once he finds out that Celia has magical powers or magical abilities, he puts that to the use and to the task, and ever since she was younger, set out to be in a duel of which she doesn't really know what it's about or what you're supposed to do really, or what the outcome is. All she knows is that she trains her butt off ever since she was a little kid just to do this duel. Her and her opponent have been training since they were little, both with different masters and magicians. And this duel is supposed to take place in a circus, only open at midnight, so that's really awesome. So it's a really cool circus that it doesn't tell you where it's going to be, what time it's going to be, but it just happens to be open at night at different places. So that is where the duel is supposed to be taking place. Sooner or later, Celia and Marco find out that they're opponents, and what is crazy is they actually fall in love and they start liking each other, which causes kind of like a tumble on the duel itself. It backfires stars, and what they don't know is that only one opponent is supposed to be standing at the end of this duel, so one of them is supposed to die. So that kind of leaves a little bit of a rut when you're falling in love with somebody, right? So yeah, that is The Night Circus. My rating for this was a 4 out of 5 stars. I felt like it was so descriptive. It was really, really descriptive in the point where I felt like I was actually there with them, or like it would describe the circus, the popcorn, just the drinks, everything, and you felt like it was so descriptive that you were actually eating it. You could actually smell caramel corn and everything. And so I really liked that part of the book, but I felt like it was very easy to trail off into, so I decided to give it a 4 out of 5 stars. But it was a great plot, great characters, and I loved the writing style that Erin Morgenstern used in this. Next book that I finished up this month was Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Crazy that I've never ever read this series. I know I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, but I don't know why, I just never kind of got into it. But I actually started this with SACHA here, SACHA Emily. I'll leave her link down below. We started the Tea Talks video and series, so this was our first month's read, which was the Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. So I'm not going to go too in depth with this video, just because I'm going to have a separate video reviewing this, but the main characters are Harry Potter, Hermione Granger, and Ron Weasley. And yeah, I don't really want to go too far into it just because everything's going to be described in my review coming up on the 13th or 14th of October, so stay tuned for that one. But I did give this a 5 out of 5 stars, so definitely going to be grabbing the whole collection. I think I'm going to get it for Christmas, hopefully, and I'm going to give it a go then. This is Delirium by Lauren Oliver, and this book was like one of those books that like you actually are emotionally pulled in, you're emotionally drained after you read it. Like, it had me feeling things. So the main character is Lena Holloway. I can't really remember how to pronounce it. It's been a little bit since I read it. And this is the first book in the Delirium trilogy. So Lena, she lives in a world where everything is kind of made up for them. They do not believe in love. They think that love is a disease. They believe that love, if you fall in love, it'll affect your ability to think, it'll affect your ability to live, breathe, just anything. It'll affect your decision making and just everything that you do, which I kind of believe it kind of does. Love does kind of do those things to you, but in this world you are not allowed to love. So what happens is since they believe that love is a disease, you are to be cured. So at a certain age, they are cured of the love disease. She meets Alex, she kind of reevaluates and rethinks of this whole belief system that she has been believing her whole life. Is love really a disease? Is it really what they say it is? A sympathizer is kind of like a traitor. It's when you say that you got the cure, but you didn't, or it can be when you live in the wilds where a bunch of sympathizers live. It's where people that didn't get the cure live. It's kind of out of bounds of where the people that are cured live. So there's like a bound between the cures and the sympathizers in the wilds. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So she's kind of just torn between what she thinks is real and what she thinks is a lie. She's trying to see if love really is a disease in somewhat. So that's what this is about. It's a really, really great book. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. I loved it so much. I loved the character development in it. I loved just the storyline, and I loved just all the characters. I felt like it really flowed together. And I saw that they did create a TV show, but it didn't really go through and didn't make it. But I really think that they should make this into a movie and get better cast members for it. No hate on the TV show, but I just really think that the TV show really didn't have the great characters for it. But I really, really loved this book. Seriously, I need to go get the second one so bad because I absolutely loved it. Next book is Allegiant by Veronica Roth. This I've had for maybe like a week now. I finished the first 2 books, Divergent and Insurgent, a long, long time ago, and I meant to pick this book up right after I finished the second one, but it's been probably like months and months and months until I picked this up, and I finally saw it at one of these thrift stores next to my house, and I picked it up, and it was a really, really great deal. It was only like $2, and inside it's got like the extra like diary entries, which is awesome. So I picked this up and I read it within a day, and I was obsessed. So I'm not going to go too much into it because really you need to read the first book and the second book to really get this, and I don't want to spoil anything. But I really, really liked it. It kept me on my toes so much, but I only gave it a 4 out of 5 stars because I felt like it kind of dragged on in the beginning for a really, really long time, and then everything happened kind of like in 5 or 6 chapters in the end. But I no hate on Veronica Roth. She's one of my favorites. This series this series was the first ever series that I read, and it was like, this is what kind of brought me into booktubing. It's kind of what brought me into loving books. So I cannot wait until the movie comes out. I'm a huge, huge, huge fan of Tobias. Like, he's so cute. If you haven't read this already, which I'm pretty sure everybody has because it's kind of late, but go get you some because it's good. I wanted to read one last kind of summer read just to get it out of my system, so I picked up Sarah Dessen, Keeping the Moon. And Sarah Dessen has also been one of my favorites ever since I started booktubing or liked books. She was kind of like one of those authors that I always stuck to and always loved, and so I feel like no matter what book I pick up from her, I'm always going to love it. So this is Keeping the Moon, and it's about a girl named Collie. Ever since she was in school, she was bullied a lot from girls. She was called slut, and she was also called fat. And then she lost all the weight, and people still called her other names. So her mom is going on tour with her fitness program, so she gets sent to Colby, North Carolina, which I love North Carolina, and to stay with her aunt. And what happens there is she meets 2 girls named Morgan and Isabel, and she instantly clicks with them, and they teach her how to love herself and respect herself. And it's just about her growing on herself and just to learn self-confidence. It's about her breaking out of her shell. It's all about her just moving on with life and having self-confidence. So I really liked this book, but it wasn't one of my favorites from Sarah Dessen. I gave this about a 3 out of 5 stars. I just felt like it kind of, again, lagged on in the beginning, and it all happened really, really fast in the ending. I would have liked more from the ending, if that makes sense, but so I give it a 3 out of 5 stars, but Sarah Dessen is still one of my favorite authors, and I really, really want to read some more of her. So that is all for my September wrap-up. I hope that you guys really like this video. I'm so excited for October to be here. I'm hoping to read a lot more books this October. So stay tuned for my October TBR or my October wrap-up, and let me know what else you guys would like to see next. Don't forget to follow my Book and Beauty Instagram at _booksandbeauty_ on Instagram, and also twitter.com/booksandbeauty, and let me know down below if you guys have any recommendations or books or just feedback at all. Thank you guys for watching. Bye!